Right, welcome ladies and gents. Disney wins the box office, but also destroys Wicked. So Moana 2 is absolutely killing it at the box office. But what this does mean is that the incredible sums of money that was spent on Wicked and its marketing campaign has been a failure. This is one of the biggest marketing campaigns with brand partners in history. It's astronomically high, and that's been a failure because Moana 2 has come out with very little marketing, quite literally very little at all, and has destroyed the box office, like positively destroyed the box office. So it's interesting. So let's take a look. Hit subscribe if you're new here, turn those bell notifications on. So it says here anyway, Chihu Mania at the box office. Moana 2 is dancing to a record 5-day 215 million plus opening. That's of course going to beat Super Mario Brothers. But Wicked will only be at $118 million plus. They had a huge marketing budget. And a huge production budget as well. Gladiator II drops, way down with 45 million. So that's the overview of the story. If you want to leave now, that's basically the overview. But we're going to take a look into it a little bit more. So yeah, let's take a look, right? So it says this, anyway, another day at the box office. With having records broken. So the richest Black Friday ever at the box office with an estimated $108 million. That's mad. Just on one day, $108 million. So that's Moana 2 turning into a record breaker for Black Friday. So 54.5 million. Disney's now taken their 5-day estimate for Moana 2 to 215 to 220. That's crazy. That's madness. So 108 was the overall. Moana 2 was, well, basically half of that. Now it says this, which is where rivals saw it all along. However, Disney played wise rather than project over their skis. Thanksgiving projections also turn on their axis both on Black Friday and Saturday. 3 days, 140 now, which is the second best debut for Dwayne Johnson. After Furious 7's 147.1. So, not bad at all. It says this, at 215 to 220 million, not only is that a Thanksgiving 5-day record for any title, it's not that much of a difference though, to be fair. Like it's a good amount, but it's not a huge record breaker. But it does say this, that it also is the biggest 5-day opening of all time, which destroys Super Mario Brothers movie. Now that's actually something which we can compare it to, because that's a comfortable besting. Super Mario Brothers movie was not out that long ago. So we don't really account. It's not the same kind of accounting for inflation like we do on other films, right? A film from like 20 years ago. Yeah, obviously the movies now are going to be taking in more money. Obviously, that's how inflation works. But this one being so recent, yeah, that's a pretty good besting, quite frankly. That's pretty damn good. So those assuming that Moana 2 would cut in Wicked's business due to the latter's 2-hour, 40-minute runtime, that's crazy. So yeah, 118 million over 5 days. The Universal feature taking the Broadway musicals posting the third best 5-day haul for a movie over Thanksgiving. That's still not that good, really. 115 million. Frozen 2 was 125 million. So it's not actually that good, but to be fair. And actually that is really bad for a movie which has had a huge marketing campaign. And just as a quick overview of it here, this is on Variety. Inside Wicked's marketing blitz, how Universal courted 400 brands and spent big to guarantee the musical was everywhere. So remember, it's only like, what did it do again? It didn't do that. 118 million over 5 days is what it's projected to do. It's not that great. It's fine, but it's not that great. Got to remember how much they spent on it. So 400 brand titles, 400 corporate brands. That's a lot. It's one of the biggest of all time. So this publicity storm wasn't just a runaway tornado. It's all been meticulously designed by Universal Chief Marketing Officer Michael Moses, who told movie theatre owners that his mission with Wicked was being just short of obnoxious. So an onslaught of all things Oz, however, doesn't come cheap. Those extensive global marketing efforts are estimated to cost $150 million, according to rival studio executives. And that doesn't include the combined $300 million production budget for Wicked Part 1 and Part 2. So they're still going to do another 150 odd million for the second one, I'm sure. So if you're breaking it in half, I mean, this movie needs $600 million to start breaking even. Because part 1, 150, plus $150 million on marketing, plus probably more. I mean, that's not all of it. And it's doing $118 million. But that's... it's not great, is it? Do you see what I mean when we compare it? Moana 2 had barely any marketing. Barely any marketing at all. And it does seem to me that Wicked, their marketing campaign, because their interview circuit that they've been doing, basically hinges on two women being incredibly strange and crying the majority of the time whilst looking anorexic. Like, that seems to be their marketing at the moment. Like, do you know what I mean? That's just weird. Their interviews are weird. It says this, it's already paying off. Yeah, not really. Not really. You know, $162 million globally. Yeah, okay, fine. But is that going to last? Is that something that's going to maintain? No, not really. I mean, it's not a bad drop-off, obviously. But anyway, there you go. So there's that. And it says this. In addition, with $32 million, yesterday, Wicked owns the third best Black Friday box office for any title behind Moana 2 and Frozen 2. Paramount's Gladiator II remains on track for a $45 million 5-day for a 112.2 running total by end of day Sunday. Black Friday business shot up by 85% from Thanksgiving's 6.7 million with 12.4 million. Now this is an interesting one because I think Gladiator 2 has somewhat been spurned by the cinematographer coming out and being like, you know what, Ridley Scott's actually really lazy. He's really lazy when it comes to shooting films now. Like what? What was the direct quote? Impatient and lazy was what the cinematographer called him. That's the cinematographer on Gladiator 2. That can't have helped. That PR can't have helped. But that's a movie that was rumoured to have a over $300 million budget as well, which is just madness. Like $280, $300 million. Crazy numbers. So there you go. There's the box office, right? Moana 2 is obviously crushing it. I am surprised that was a movie which was made for TV, which was then reworked into a movie for theatrical release. I mean, good on Disney for doing that, obviously, moving things away from streaming. Streaming is not the future. I think hopefully now everyone's realised that. So good on them for doing that, and you know, big props that it's just been generally successful and people like it. You know, theatres as a business need more of this. You know, there are so many theatre chains shutting down as a result of movie studios producing shit. It's a symbiotic relationship. You know, one needs the other. If the theatres shut down, movie studios got nowhere to run their movies in. But anyway, there you go. I don't have much else to say really. Moana 2 wins. Wicked is a bit of a failure when it comes to that much money spent on it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop it down below. Take care. Bye bye now.